Well, as Dave Franco once said, you can't make a good movie with a bad script no matter who's involved. Yeah, that and a multitude of other things. This is the worst movies I've seen this year. Gonna be honest here, y'all. I had 14 picks at one point. Even the Anaconda movie, which I didn't get around to doing a review for. Yeah, that was like one of the worst movies I've seen this year. Anyway, as the saying goes, let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and get started with this. Number 10. So, Cobra Kai is an interesting TV series, but Karate Kid Legends is an embarrassment to the franchise. This felt like Dollar Store Karate Kid. I didn't like the acting. I didn't like how Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio didn't even come into the film until the halfway point, and then that second half was such a disaster. This one, yeah, it is abysmal. I didn't have any fun. And quite frankly, it's just a film I'm going to forget years from now and say, yeah, Karate Kid Legends, that's a waste of time. Number 9. You know, Minecraft is one of the best video games ever played. A Minecraft movie is such a disaster. Seriously, what happened with this? The acting was horrible, the characters were lackluster, the story was lacking in a lot of areas. This film caused such an internet frenzy, chicken jockey, and true story, a woman got body slammed in a movie theater. That's the insanity of this whole film. Yeah, a Minecraft movie. Certainly not worth the time at all. Number 8. Well, Netflix had a lot of horror movies come out this year, and The Electric State is one of them. Seriously, this one was so atrocious. It was just lacking in so many areas. The chemistry between Millie Bobby Brown and Chris Pratt was non-existent. The characters were not even remotely interesting. And speaking of Millie Bobby Brown, has she ever been in a good film? I only ever seen her in Stranger Things. She does great in that, but here, her character is one dimension. And when it was finally over, I was satisfied because I knew I was never going to watch this again. In fact, I barely remember this one, but I do know it was so bad that Netflix had to be embarrassed for this to exist in the first place. Number 7. The first Megan film, it was entertaining. It was a nice horror. But Megan 2.0 is such a terrible cinematic experience. I was like, man, this is such a waste of time. Seriously, Blumhouse, what happened? It's like someone at that production company was like, hey, let's take Megan and make her into one of the good guys. Not only is that crazy, but turning it into an action comedy really turned me off from this. The story was miserable. The characters were not anything interesting whatsoever. This film was so bad that Soulmate, which was supposed to come out on January 9th, got delayed. Blumhouse, take a hint and please do not make Megan 3 because no one's really looking forward to that, especially me. Number 6. Yeah, so this next entry on the list is a horror film, and that is Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Josh Hutcherson, he must have been miserable being in this, but he stayed for that paycheck. Seriously, what are they doing with this franchise? Not only is it PG-13, but it's just flat out boring. I don't even remember what happened in this much because that's how forgettable it is. The Five Nights at Freddy video games, yeah, those are entertaining. But this, we have lackluster characters and quite frankly acting that was like seen from a CW TV show. This was, without question, one of the worst horror films that I've seen this year. Number 5. Well, the Jurassic Park franchise has been around for over 30 years at this point, but if we keep getting slop like Jurassic World Rebirth, I don't know if there will be any more films in the immediate future. Seriously, I hate this film. I didn't like the acting. I thought the story was awful. And there was even a subplot. I was like, I don't care about this family. Especially how the film starts with a candy wrapper getting trapped in a door that actually leads to the dinosaurs escaping. Yeah, it's that bad. You know, the Jurassic Park franchise hasn't been good in a decade, not just special anymore. Number 4. So continuing with the horror films is Until Dawn. What was this video game adaptation? Speaking of which, I used to have a saying that was another video game adaptation, another shitty product. And that's what this one is right here. The acting was so bad, I was like, was this written by a 5th grader? The story was non-existent, the characters weren't interesting whatsoever. This is why I question one of the most boring movies I've seen this year. Not just that though, I was like, I thought we was past these horrible video game adaptations because every time we get a good one, we get 3 more horrible adaptations. Yeah, Until Dawn, this was such a waste of time. And quite frankly, while I never played the game, I'm betting it's 10 times better than whatever the hell this was supposed to be. Number 3. At the number 3 spot, we continue with another horror film, that is I Know What You Did Last Summer. I've never been a fan of this franchise. I thought the original one from the 97 film, it's not classic, it's not memorable. There's a lot of things wrong with that. Here, it feels like dollar store screen. Seriously, the characters make asinine decisions, the script is a mess, even the characters are lacking in quality. This is a spoiler, but they actually made Freddie Prinze Jr.'s character the killer at the end. I was like, WTF. That made no sense, especially if you've seen the second one he was in. Yeah, this is just a straight up dumpster fire, hence why it's at my number 3 spot. Number 2. So these next 2 entries, I flip-flop back and forth. I was like, do I go for the big studio movie or the other film which shouldn't exist in the first place? Actually, to be truthful, neither of these 2 movies should have been made in the first place, but Snow White is a great example of Disney ruining another classic. I grew up with the original animated film. It's great. There's a lot of memorable things within it. Here, it's just more pointless slop. The characters are interesting, and the forest characters, the forest people as they like to be called, it's just straight up forgettable. It's like Disney says, hey, let's ruin another classic with another pointless, soulless adventure that no one's going to remember. And Walt Disney, they still haven't learned their lesson. There is a live adaptation of Moana coming out in July. And not just that, they're also working on a live adaptation of Hercules. When it comes to this film, well, it's just forgettable and it's not really anything worth remembering, to be honest. Number 1. Finally, at the number 1 spot, last but certainly not least, it's a movie that made me miserable. I had such a horrific time watching it. That is Hurry Up Tomorrow. I hate this movie, y'all. The Weeknd, yeah, he's a great artist. He definitely can sing, but he's a horrible actor. He was by far the worst part in this film. Jenny Ortega's character was just abysmal. This is one of those movies that, quite frankly, I'm like, why? Why did it have to exist in the first place? This was one of those films I'm questioning Hollywood. Is this where we going with documentaries, or are we taking certain artists and throw them in film? They're like, hey, let's throw things at the wall and see what sticks. Honestly, I don't remember much about this film, but I do know it is such an abomination. It's one of the main reasons why it's number 1 at my worst movies of 2025. And well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's my top 10 worst movies of this year. Gonna be honest here with y'all, I get no enjoyment of watching terrible films. I watch these, so hopefully you guys don't have to. I just want to take a moment and thank each and every one of you out there for hanging out with me again digitally this year. I really appreciate each and every one of you out there. You guys are the reason I still do this. I can't believe I've been doing this for 8 years. Children born back then are now in 2nd or 3rd grade. It just blows my mind. I'm looking forward to what 2026 will bring, because I'm sure there's going to be more dumpster fire films and a few hidden gems as well. Alright, I'll see y'all guys in the new year. This is Slim Guy 172 saying peace out.